Snap, snap, snap.
4 snaps make a Z.
Do they really? Oh. Yeah.
4 snaps make a Z.
Okay.
2 snaps make a swirl.
Welcome back to Faith in Frames.
Howdy.
We made it to episode 2.
Wowzers. We didn't get canceled yet.
Didn't get canceled yet.
Milestones.
Episode 1 got shot, so I mean,
Yeah.
already starting off on the right foot.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
It's not, what is it they say? It's not how you start, it's how you finish. That may not apply.
No, I mean, it does. It just depends on the context.
Yeah.
It certainly depends on the context. I need some context for that sweet headwear you've got on your dome. Tell me what's on the dome this morning.
So this is the Belong, right? It says Belong. You see the TriStar.
Oh,
and the
Tennessee.
O, right? So you've already gotten 2 elements.
The alma mater.
It is an organization.
Nice.
Tennessee Kids Belong.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put the, be sure to put the URL on the screen, but also in the description.
Wonderful organization.
If you are simply listening when you do get to a safe spot, be sure to look them up.
Yeah, go check them out.
So they are an organization that we had the opportunity to work with one of our mentors, friends, buddies,
Mr. Jordy, yeah.
right? Chroma Creative.
Jordy Wetzel.
Hopefully he'll be a guest on the podcast at some point, so be on the lookout for that.
I would love that.
But yes, rounding that out, we were able to work with Jordy and this particular organization, and they are in the foster space, right?
Yes.
And if you go to the website, you'll see, right? So they essentially help kids who have been in the system, or they're in the system, right?
Yeah, currently
in the system. They give them a great day, and they also help create videos of them, right? And they get to kind of explain what's important to them.
Well, they plead their case.
Yeah.
Essentially.
True.
They plead their case for adoption.
Yep. And so it is a very, very good organization. Something that you probably even noticed with some of our recent content. We work with the Isaiah House, which different organization, but
same mission.
Same mission at the end of the day, right?
Mission.
That is something that very near and dear to our hearts for a plethora of reasons.
I got to say that particular day wrecked me emotionally. You know me. I'm not a crier. I'm not an emotional guy typically. That day wrecked me because that organization specifically, they deal with some of the toughest placement cases.
Sure.
These are kids that have been in the system maybe for multiple years.
Right.
Have gone through many different homes. Very tough cases to place.
Yep.
That's what they specialize in, which once again emotionally wrecked me. We're both dads. I have 3 kids. You have 2 kids.
Right.
And to go through a process like that, to realize there are children out there wanting what we try to provide for our kids. Mm-hmm. That one wrecked me. That one got me.
Well, I mean, and I keep going back to the statement that I've heard uttered a number of times. The kids didn't choose it.
No, they didn't pick that.
You know, and it's just like the kids are in this situation with no fault of their own.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's a great organization.
Yeah. Tough shoot day though. Very tough shoot day.
Oh, for sure. You take the cause out of the thing.
Yeah.
You take the mental and the emotional reasons as to why I like this hat. On a very high level, physical level, okay, it's black and white.
Yeah.
If you look in my closet, short of a few of the colorful shirts that I might wear to church,
pretty neutral palette.
I like black, white, and gray.
Yep. Same.
I've always bought shoes in that color.
Earth tones too. I do like my earth tones.
Okay, so I'll branch out and I might get a drab or an olive.
Yeah.
Maybe a brown.
Brown and green.
By and large, though, simple. Yeah. White, black, and gray. I stay somewhere on that scale.
Yeah.
So yeah, it matches everything that we do.
Black is classy. It's classic.
Plus,
slimming.
You know, it's a great opportunity because whilst out shooting, not only does it match, but we have also gotten many inquiries.
Yes.
Inquiries, however you want to say that. People have inquired to us.
They've noticed.
What is that? So it gives us an opportunity to further educate.
I believe these hats have made waves. I'm not wearing mine currently like you are, but actually on set with one of our friends, Justice Stewart of Not Just Media, he's shooting his second short horror film. He's starting to specialize, I think, in the horror genre.
Is he?
But these hats are making waves because Justice looked at me that morning. I did not have my Belong hat on. I had my bright pink Trunk Players hat on, which is a skateboard shop, surf shop in Myrtle Beach, where I go to get my longboard serviced. They do new bearings for me every year. Justice said something to the tune of, "Wow, when you're with Jared, you guys wear your nice matching Belong hats.
Oof.
When you come into my set, you've got your pink Trunk Players hat. What's going on here?"
Shots fired.
Shots fired. Shots fired. So I like the hats. Great mission behind it. Great looking hats. Good job.
Yeah.
On the design there.
Yeah.
They're making waves. They're making waves.
Yeah. I think it's great. And I'll probably continue wearing the hat because it also fits my head. I've got a weird head, right? I've got a weird head, and I'm really particular and picky about my hats. If they don't fit right, in my head, no pun intended, I'm probably not going to wear them.
You don't like dad hats. I've
I
noticed that.
I do not like dad hats.
I'm a lover of dad hats.
My head does not fit dad hats.
New Era 47. New Era 47, probably one of my favorite dad hats.
Is that also a plea for a sponsorship?
New Era?
Yeah.
Yeah. Still pales in comparison to Manscaped, who will eventually sponsor this podcast.
Yeah.
This is my second petition
to
Manscaped.
Are you prophesying that, or is this just stick or throw it at the wall, see if it sticks? This is my wish.
I'm a firm believer in, speaking things into existence, willing things into existence. Have you, similar to how my Packers did this past weekend, with
I think I remember another person who spoke something into existence.
Our Lord and Savior.
There you go.
The creator of all. I'm just saying.
There is that.
Words are powerful.
Speaking of sponsors, though.
Oh, okay.
I think we should just go ahead and after the break, we're going to discuss an important topic that we get asked a lot. And so we mentioned that we want to educate people in this podcast. So we're going to do that. But after the break, that's what we'll do. But now let's go ahead and thank our sponsor.
Our sponsor for today, drum roll, please. Motion Creative Media.
Shocker.
Us. Jared and Garrett, we are sponsoring ourselves for episode 2 of Faith in Frames. Here at Motion Creative Media, we want to inspire love for active living through photo and video that moves your business forward. Reach out to Motion Creative Media for your consult on video and photo services. Which leads me into the meat and taters, Jared. One of the biggest questions that we are asked whenever a business, an individual reaches out to us, or we reach out to them, however that conversation is started. Do I need photo and video services? Whether it be a solopreneur, a small business, medium or large business. Do I need these services? Let's chop it up.
Right off the bat, we work with a lot of local businesses, and in our area, there are a lot of local businesses that are family owned and operated. It's probably the case in bigger cities, but I don't know that they're as prominent. We've got several staples in our area that have been around for decades, family owned and operated.
Right.
And a lot of them will tell you, look, I'm as busy as I can be.
Yeah.
I don't need to advertise. I probably can't afford to advertise, not monetarily, but I wouldn't be able to get to the work.
Right. No manpower, not enough manpower.
Yeah. I couldn't take a new client if they walked through the door. That's a great problem to have.
Absolutely.
But that's your problem today.
Yeah.
What happens? There's a statistic that I heard the other day, and it's probably the only statistic that is 100% accurate,
right?
100% of the time, and that's 100% of us are going to die.
Oh, for sure.
So what does that mean in a non-morbid sense? Well, that means eventually your clients are going to age and they're going to die. And if you're not appealing to a newer audience, a younger demographic, if you're not constantly getting in front of the youth that will be the adults tomorrow,
right,
you're doing your business a disservice.
You got to bring them into the fold eventually. As you said, you're typically, historically, your book of business is going to be similar age, mindset, demographic, whatever to you. So if you're a 57-year-old farmer who's running a small implement company
Yep.
selling farm equipment, you're probably attracting other farmers in their 50s to 60s.
Yeah.
What about the young farmers? Where are
There's
they
a ton
going?
of them.
Where
There's
are-
been
where
a
are they
big
going?
push for that lately.
There has been, and I've even seen companies like Deere and Kubota and Massey offering crazy incentives for
Yep.
young farmers to start essentially with that brand.
Yeah.
To create some brand loyalty.
Right.
So as the small implement seller, are you attracting those guys?
I mean, even on a service level. So
Yeah.
we mentioned in episode 1 the plumber. I guess we'll just keep picking on those cracks, right?
Yeah.
The plumbers.
Joe the plumber.
Joe the plumber. Who are your customers? Well, they're homeowners, they're business owners, right? Which, okay, so that's a certain age right off the bat.
Right.
But who's going to be that homeowner at some point? Who's going to be that business owner at some
Right.
point? Well, it's the kids who are.
It's the 20-year-old now.
It's the 20-year-old now.
Yeah.
And so here's the thing: advertisements. That vehicle, whatever that may be, that's changed and shifted
Yeah.
since the beginning of time.
What were you telling me earlier off camera about radio advertisement when it first came about?
Okay, so yeah, radio ads. They've been around. They're still around, and they're still a very effective form of advertisement.
Right.
But imagine those first starting in the 1920s and the 30s.
Yeah.
It didn't exist.
You're fresh off the 1800s.
It didn't exist, right? This wasn't a thing, but now it is. And imagine being a business in that time and not taking advantage of that.
Yeah.
You're thinking, I don't need to do radio ads.
I still
business-
like the Pony Express.
My business is doing great. I'll stick with my flyers.
Yeah.
I'll stick with my word of mouth, which word of mouth going nowhere.
Yeah.
Always going to be a great thing. But you got to be doing more today, right?
Right.
So again, imagine being that business in the early 1920s and 30s and not hopping on that radio ad train. Looking back at that, you probably would say maybe a foolish decision.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, I like history. Can you imagine being fresh off the 1800s, hearing about this thing called a radio? And
This box that speaks.
Yeah, this box that talks to you from, hundreds, maybe even thousands of miles away. I can only imagine what it would be like. Let's say you're on your settlement in the West. You hear about this radio. How much would that rock you?
Yeah.
I'd be rocked.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Give me my Pony Express, please.
right.
I don't want your radio.
Prior to that, that's how you got news, right? Was the Pony Express,
The P Express.
or I guess some sort of personal manual delivery service
Yeah.
via parchment.
I don't know. I'm imagining a picture in my head that's just it's cool. It's cool. But it would rock me as a plainsman, that's for sure.
Well, but I mean, honestly, to ring that back into what we're wanting to discuss today.
Yeah.
Do I need video content? Do I need photos?
Short answer.
Do I need to be on social media, right? Or whatever? The short answer is yes.
How?
Well,
Or why? Why and how?
so the why is because you constantly need to be bringing, in my opinion, any business that isn't bringing in youth, it's no different than churches, right?
Right.
If the church of tomorrow is the youth of today, and if you're not bringing in youth
And keeping them.
and keeping them and starting to build rapport with them, build community, then your business is going to die out as your book of business dies out.
Well, and bringing them in is one thing. Retaining them, though, is also very important. How are you retaining that new audience? I think one of our mentors, Mark Bone, a wonderful documentary filmmaker.
Shout out, Mark Bone.
Shout out Mark Bone, the Bone Zone.
Don't know that he refers to it as that, but
I think a lot of people do. But so let's think about this. One thing that Mark always states when it comes to platforms such as YouTube. You and I both run YouTube channels, albeit small.
Yep.
YouTube channels. His painting of YouTube is wonderful. He says YouTube is your living room.
right.
It is your living room where you are able to invite people in. They can stay a while. They can watch a couple flicks. They can watch, whatever content you're putting out there. But it's an environment to where people are welcomed not only to come, but they are invited and welcome to stay.
Yep. Stay and hang out.
Stay and hang out a while. So while bringing them in is great, I think keeping them is also important. You want your audience to grow with you.
Yeah.
You want your future customers, consumers to grow with you.
Right.
And I think YouTube is a great platform for that. But Mark, and I think YouTube's not the only platform
Right.
for that. But you have to think about keeping your audience as well.
Yeah.
I love that painting from Mark on that.
He referenced, the living room.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so what is the door? What is the vehicle that gets them to your house, so to
Right.
speak? If we're going to stick with that illustration, that's where your short form stuff
your
can
short
be. It's a nugget, right?
Yeah.
It's a bit of insightful information, entertainment, whatever it is you find success with content. That's what it is. But you have your longer form stuff.
Right.
You have your consistency. You have those items that I think helps build a community.
Absolutely.
It starts to build rapport.
Absolutely.
They truly, though they've never met you in person, feel as though they know you.
They feel connected.
Yeah, they feel connected. And at the end of the day, we're tribal people, right? We all, whether we'll admit it or not, desire
Community.
and connection.
Absolutely.
There may be times where you want to be alone for a bit, but there's a reason why that show alone, you see the mental breakdowns because they're literally alone for days and days and days on end.
They go mad.
They go mad. So you want a sense of community. It's buried in you. You need that. So that's an opportunity for your business to do that right there. Is you can build rapport, and your audience can get to know you and feel connected to your business. Because at the end of the day, I think people just want to be in the know.
They do. They want to be informed.
I mean, so we're in Greenville, right?
Right.
How many people have you heard utter, we've had Southern Craft coming for how long now? They're moving into the old Stan's Barbecue building.
2 years.
Right. So we've had people, you can't go anywhere and somebody not say, when is that ever going to happen?
Right. They see a little bit of activity on the outside.
See a little bit of activity, right?
Every now and then.
But okay, that's a prime example as to if there were some sort of weekly, bi-weekly, whatever the frequency is, an update.
Yeah.
That people could understand, see, and hear. At that point, their needs satisfied.
Man, at the end of the day, we just want to know, when are we going to get our pork?
Bingo.
Our pork and our beef, our burn ends.
Is it called the Butcher Block?
The Butcher's Block. Oh my gosh, yes.
Not to be confused with our local staple,
Not the restaurant.
the steakhouse.
Great restaurant, by the way.
Absolutely.
But the Butcher's Block from Southern Craft
Yeah.
is just a cutting board full of divine meat. Whether you like pork, turkey, chicken, beef, you can have it all.
You name it, it's there.
That might be a future sponsor.
I guess what I'm ultimately trying to say is that's a perfect example of people just wanting to be in the know.
Yeah.
If you're upfront
That's me
with
wanting to
people,
be in the know.
Yeah, you just want to know. And at that point, you're not as, I mean, sure, you're still eager,
Yeah.
but you don't feel as though you're not wandering. Like you know the answer. You know where everything's at right there. So I think that's a great opportunity with social media content.
Well, think about this too. Even, okay, so we've talked about the consumer benefit of, content, but think about even from a business. So again, you and I are both fathers. I want my children and my children's children to have the opportunity to keep this thing going after I'm dead and gone.
Right.
If I'm not bringing in new customers, new clients, if I'm not thinking of my future generation, our business is going to die just as, no different than the implement salesman or the plumber.
Sure.
So generationally speaking, I think that good content, whether it be photo, video, both, whatever, good content that continually generates new eyes, new friends to come into the living room per se. Just from a business owner standpoint, I think it is a good gesture to your future generations. Like, hey, I have built this thing.
Right.
I want you to keep this going if you desire.
Yeah.
Now, our kids may grow up and have zero interest.
Big conditional statement there.
Very conditional. But I at least want to give them the opportunity. I want to afford them the opportunity of choice. You can choose whether or not to keep this going,
Right.
sell it, do whatever. But I want to at least do my part to leave something better than the way we found it.
Want you to have that option.
Yeah, exactly.
So that brings up a good point. We mentioned in episode 1 or in last week's episode that our area has historically been a little slower for all
Yes.
trends, right?
Very.
Fashion, everything.
Yep.
It just is. I mean, we're in a little slower paced area. Part of the reason why I like it here, but
Yes.
that also means that video being new is no different than, right. It's not immune to that speed.
Yeah.
It's
Even commercial photography.
for sure, absolutely. But a lot of people immediately, if you mention TikTok or you mention Instagram to a 60-year-old in our area,
Oh man.
they're immediately going to have this perception of people just doing dances.
Yeah.
Or maybe they may think of like, I don't know, travel photography or something,
Yeah.
but like they're going to have a perception of it right off the bat. And a lot of times I think that keeps businesses from trying it.
It does. It's a fear thing.
It's like, okay, I'm not funny. I'm certainly not going to get on camera and dance.
right.
It can be so much more than that. And from a business standpoint, it should be so much more than that.
It should be.
It is an opportunity, in my opinion, for a business to, again, build community,
Right.
keep educating new potential clients,
Right.
as to what you do, what you stand for. It's a reoccurring opportunity to explain to the public what you do and why you do it.
Yeah.
And you don't have to complicate that.
Well, and you don't have to be, obviously there's something to be said for like the flashy side of social media.
Yeah.
Sure, you can get on there and do your trendy dances or you can do your comedy skits. But I go back to one of our fitness clients. Their training core is just immaculate.
Mm-hmm.
One of our prescriptions for them was, hey, along with some long form content,
Right.
let's lean into this. Let's do some quick hitting trainer tips,
Yep.
whether it's 15 seconds, whether it's 30 seconds. Not every prescription is the same for every client,
Yeah.
but we are able to identify what they're good at, maybe what we can accentuate, and then also fill some gaps.
Right.
So their big thing was they were also going through a rebrand. They're wanting to attract those new faces,
Just like every other business.
just like every other business, into the new gym. And so we were able to prescribe that and say, let's lean into this staff, let's lean into this core.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great example of being able to use long form content, short form content, and we also utilize photos with them,
Right.
in caption posts. So I think, just going back to small businesses, there are so many different ways, content wise, to prescribe to a small business. And that's what we try to do.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, we use that phrase a lot, but at the end of the day, we're problem solvers.
Yeah.
And honestly, that was the main thing that kept me entertained in IT.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Nobody comes to you and says, hey, dude, my computer's working great. And
Yeah,
it has
thanks
been
a
for
lot,
3 months.
IT guy.
You don't hear those. You know when you get a call or an email? When something's broken.
My computer
right?
crashed.
My computer is not doing this anymore. So
what are you prescribing when somebody's computer crashes?
well, I mean,
just
so you
right off the dome.
every solution is going to be different because every problem's a little different. Now, you're going to have some overlaps, but it's no different than what we're doing. Each client, not every client needs to be a monthly retainer.
Right.
Not every business needs to have 5 posts a week.
Right.
They don't.
You might need a strong branded piece.
You may not even need weekly
Right.
content. But I do think that every business, regardless of size, needs at least 2 pieces, right? I think they need this strong branded piece. That's what we say all the time.
Yeah.
And what is that? So like that is your who we are and what we do.
And why you should care.
Yes, and why you should care. That video does that thing for you. It is a billboard to explain to someone who knows nothing about you.
Right.
They can watch this piece and have a great idea. It's essentially,
It's your rally cry.
yeah, it is, this is why we're here, and this is what we do, and this is why we're the option for you.
And I'm shouting it from the mountaintops.
Bingo. So that piece lives on your website.
Second piece.
The other piece, it's something that's been around for a long time. Websites have been using it. You've got your reviews, all of these things,
Right.
but it's a testimonial.
Yeah.
So-
Powerful.
Very powerful. So, and everybody's like, well, I've already got a bunch of text testimonials on my webpage. That's great.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be the, what is the word?
Realistic Randy.
No, I'm going to be the skeptic.
There you go.
That's what I was after. I'm going to be the skeptic here.
Skeptic Sammy.
My name's Sammy, and I'm a skeptic. And I'm on your website, and I see 5 text reviews. I have no proof that that person actually exists. B said that, right? I'm not saying that companies are dishonest, but
Right.
I've got no proof
Yeah.
that this is an actual statement from a past client. However, the power of a video testimonial,
We have facial recognition.
I'm watching Billy Bob rant and rave
Yeah.
about how great this business was from his perspective, right?
Yeah, you're able to ID the client at that
You
point.
feel connected. You're in Billy Bob's shoes yourself right now
Right.
because you're looking, and that video testimonial sits it over the top. Like, now I know.
Yeah.
This is the right choice for me.
And I think the video testimonial too, it goes hand in hand with the branded piece. You know, obviously the branded piece is powerful in the sense that it gives the mission, but it's coming from the owner. Of course, the owner is going to say all the great things about themselves.
I can tell you how good I am all day long.
Absolutely, all day.
Maybe it's true, maybe it's not.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? But whenever you've got a solid testimony, or 2, or 4, or 10, whatever the number is,
Right.
from somebody else, to me that is an instant just credibility boost.
Yep.
For someone else to say something nice about you.
So I referenced that in a blog that we wrote.
Yes.
I compared it to, okay, so we've all been on Amazon, probably looking at buying something that we didn't need.
Correct.
But say you've got it narrowed down, that item, to 2 or 3 brands. If you're a thorough shopper like a lot of people are, you're going to go to the reviews.
Yeah.
You're going to read real-world reviews from people who've used this product. You should probably read several of them because...
Good and bad.
Good and bad. Yeah, you need to see both sides of it, right? You need to see that best answer, and you need to see that worst answer, and then you can craft your narrative, right?
You can average them out.
You can average them out. That's no different than what a testimonial is.
Right.
Like, if I'm shopping for... We'll use the plumber crack once more. If I'm shopping for a plumber because I need it,
Yeah.
and I've got it narrowed down to 3 entities.
Joe, Bob, and Andrew.
Yeah, so I'm on their websites, but Bob has 3 testimonials from past clients. Joe and Andrew don't. In all honesty, I'm probably going with Bob because I've got I've got
Got a track record.
got a track record, but I have peace, right?
Yeah.
I feel a lot more comfortable in my decision there.
Right.
It's no different. I don't care what business you have, what your industry is.
Right.
You have solid client testimonials, because a referral, I think, is the best form of advertisement.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
I can't think of anything stronger than somebody else singing your praises.
No, and that goes back to your former statement. You know, maybe that is the only prescription that we do prescribe to a business.
Yeah.
You know, because not everybody wants consistent monthly or weekly content. Some people want semi-annual. Some people want
don't need it.
quarterly. Yeah, some people want yearly. I mean, but having those 2 pieces, those 2 forms of content right there, to me, are so powerful. Whether you're new, whether you've been in business 5, 10, 55 years,
Yeah.
all of those things combined, to me, set you apart. They're a differentiator,
Yeah.
to use our friend Brianna Fillers' verbiage. Differentiator between you and Joe and Andrew.
Probably the best investment you can make.
Agreed.
At least one of.
I can agree with that.
One of the best investments you can make as a business, because
Short of Jesus, yes.
there you go. The benefit to having those pieces live on your website, live on your YouTube channel, whatever it is, those are all things that can potentially convert a new client. I'll use the reference while you're asleep.
Yeah. It's passive.
I don't have to be in front of you to tell you this,
Right.
or you don't have to walk in front of my store or into my store during store hours for me to convert you. This is doing all that work for you.
And those are evergreen pieces too. And to explain what evergreen means, that is just a piece of content that, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, somebody can look at and see. I mean, we still get views on YouTube videos that we've posted years ago.
Sure.
They're evergreen pieces of content. Those are pieces of content that people can come back to time and time again.
Yeah.
Now, do they need a refresh from time to time?
Sure.
Sure.
They'll fall stale.
Right. They'll fall stale. You may make a business shift. And now you need testimonies for your new direction.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, there's that statement again. At the end of the day, those are pieces that can stand a little bit of weather. Right. A little bit of weather versus a short form piece of content.
Yep. Those are the bare minimums. Every business needs those.
Agreed.
Which is, I think, important to note. Like, with what we do, here's another educational bit. With what we do, there is no one size fits all.
Correct.
Because that just doesn't exist.
No.
Each client's needs going to be different. And so that's one of the things, again, going back to problem solving, that I really like about what we do.
Yeah.
Because it allows us to partner with someone.
Yeah.
And that's at the end of the day, that's what I want to do.
Yeah, it's partnership.
I want to get in the trenches with you, and we'll figure this thing out together.
Right.
Because, the answer may not be obvious.
Right.
Day one. Another one of our fitness clients, they've probably been our longest standing client.
They've definitely been our longest standing client.
From a consistent monthly retainer.
A great account to work with.
It probably took us 3 or 4 months before we really figured out our look. That's another thing that we take pride in, right? Each client is going to have a unique look that kind of helps with the brand, right?
It's an identifier.
But it took probably 3 or 4 months for us to figure out what type of content was working,
right?
And then what look, right? What sets them apart? If you see this piece of content, there should be visual elements to where somebody could quickly identify. I know what that account is.
Yeah,
and that's something that we're only able to do really with reoccurring clients.
Yeah, with retainers.
But that's also very important. That's just another.
A nuddle.
That's just a nuddle. That's just another way that you can reiterate to people, your brand.
Yeah.
It's part of your brand, in our opinion.
Well, thinking of that account too, specifically, the fun thing I know for you, especially because you have the IT background, you're very number oriented by the numbers. Me, I'm a little bit more of the fly by the seat of my pants. Let's shoot the coolest thing we possibly can.
Yeah.
But you're detail oriented, and that's why I respect you, and that's why I think we work well together, because I am not that. But the cool thing that we've been able to really see with that account specifically, not only the look, but what the look has equated to numbers wise. They've grown in memberships.
Oh yeah.
They've grown in social media following.
Right.
They've grown as and this is a prediction, a prophecy, if you will, that I'm going to prophesy. I believe in the upcoming years, short years, they will probably be a destination fitness location. Take your Alpha Elites, for example, your Zoo Yorks,
right?
Good old Bradley Martin and the boys out there. I believe that this fitness establishment will be the Eastern Coast destination.
Yeah.
I'm putting it down there today, episode 2 of Faith and Frames.
Yeah, I think so.
And I would love to be able to say one day we had a small piece of that.
Yeah.
We had a small piece in the direction that went.
Right.
Because they were able to trust us with the prescription and really just follow the path.
Right.
Not that we're geniuses.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, we were in the trenches with them, figuring it out too.
There's trial and error.
Yeah, it took us a solid 4 months before we knew what the heck their direction was and what the look was. But one day we can look back and say, this is cool.
Yeah.
This is cool. We were a small piece of this.
Right. I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. And maybe by then too, we'll be like swolder than most.
Yeah. Maybe. I used to go to the gym.
Yeah. You were a big gym goer.
But I quit. Life happened. Kids. Got busy.
Yeah.
Stopped making time for it.
It happens. But one day, another prophecy. You'll be back. You'll be back.
See, I think that's important too, right? So we mentioned that it wasn't a one size fits all.
Right.
And I want to always be known as a partner. We mentioned on last week's episode, there is this desire when you start out to kind of gatekeep, right?
Yeah.
Referring to a competitor,
Yeah.
that seems so foolish to do as a business, right? Because you're sending possible dollars a different direction.
Well, and in a lot of industries, it's not common practice.
No.
A lot of industries are very cutthroat.
But one thing that I like to do and would love to be known as is we've mentioned being partners, right?
Yeah.
I want to figure this out with you. Full transparency. If you come to us and you have you're inquiring, I have no problems looking at what you're doing and saying,
I ain't the guy.
I can't add value.
I ain't the
Well,
guy.
no, I mean, not even that, right? Not even a referral. Like,
Right.
I can't add value.
Right.
As much as as our business needs to generate revenue, I have mouths to feed. I've got bills, all of these things, just
Right.
no different than you. I've got no desire to. I mean, my honesty is in the forefront, right?
Well, at the end of the day, we have to answer for every decision that we make,
Yeah.
good or bad.
Look, you're doing. I cannot add value to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, you're doing everything great. You know, we can suggest tweaks.
Yeah.
But the relationship with us may not equate to dollars being transferred.
Or it may equate not even to, I guess, our services, particularly as in, me and you showing up on location. Maybe it's as simple as consulting.
Yeah.
Maybe we are just that, basically in the Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm.
We are the man behind the curtain. Or
Well,
the men behind the curtain.
We are sitting here today
Yeah.
as Motion Creative Media, by and large part because of essentially an audit.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
And so I see the value in that.
Absolutely.
I see the value in that, and that's what I want to do for other entities. Like I said, it's very plausible that a business reaches out to us. We take a look at what they're doing, and if we can't provide value, then I have no problems telling them that.
I was going to say, we've had those conversations.
Yeah.
We've had those conversations before.
Absolutely. And I think that's important because at that point, I want, I understand that every business, their bottom dollar's what matters, right?
Right.
And I don't want you to spend money where you're not going to get a return, or
Right.
where we don't perceive a return. And so, yeah, I think that's also important to note.
Yeah. We are truly here to partner with you, with your business, whether that be through us physically being present or just the guy behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Guys behind the curtain.
Absolutely.
There's two of us.
Guys behind the curtain.
Plural.
There you go. Well, I think that answers this question pretty well.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Do I need video and photo content in 2023? Sum it all up. Yes.
Absolutely.
Who needs it? Everybody.
Everyone.
It's just the prescription, the need, the amount that's going to differ.
Yeah.
And we would love the opportunity to have those discussions with you, do those audits, and see how we can help, or what advice we can offer for your business to continue to grow and thrive.
Yeah. Shoot us a text, email, call. Hey, going back to the discussion from earlier, if you're still a Pony Expresser, send us a letter.
It's not too late.
It's not too late.
The best time to start something was yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Can't go back and do yesterday. So
Second
what does
best
that leave
time.
you? Now.
Today.
It leaves you with today. So yeah, that's all we've got for this episode. Thank you for listening and watching. That's a
Thanks
new
for
word.
stopping in our living room today.
Yeah, literally.
Here on location at Garrett's Den.
Yeah. So that's all we got. Tune in next week to episode 3 of Faith in Frames. Y'all
We'll
stay
see you
safe. See ya.